So, it's been odd. And I've been thinking about this for a hot minute now. I made this channel, I think it was sophomore year of, I need to clarify. My original channel has since been long dormant. This channel was made when, I think I couldn't get access to the other one, or when I transitioned over to a new email because my dad was cyber stalking me. Whole story for another time. But I started this channel, I started YouTube, we'll phrase it that way, be more generic. I started YouTube back when I was a junior in high school, maybe a sophomore, relatively early on. This is when the netbook was still a thing, and they were just bringing laptops into the classroom. And how I did it was I had one of those crappy wired earbuds, tape it up over the internal mic, and I would record a GBA emulator of Fire Emblem The Blazing Sword, or Fire Emblem 7, or just Fire Emblem for Americans. But I started with a very crappy, and I was recording with blip.tv program, and this was in the early era of, back when I was a fan of Rezo Basso, before PewDiePie became a thing. Which, by the way, shout out to Rezo. He had a website I tried to be a part of at one point in time when I first got my first capture card, which is a crappy little USB dongle. Now I got a HD PVR that I got like 10 years ago that's crapped out on me, but I'm going to try anyway. Man, it's been a journey. And every single time that sorry, still sick. Every single time I would come back to this channel, it was out of a drive to want to share something with people. But I wanted to share it in a let's all chat kind of sense, to have an actual community built around it and have people to talk to. Because it's not just about nerdy hobbies, but it was when I was young. Playing games and talking crap and making inside jokes with my friends was how I made friends. I was socially awkward otherwise and didn't really know how to do it. And given what I know of my history, I can understand perfectly why that was a difficult thing for me. But those days never left my mind. Every single time I made a video on here, I was thinking, I hope my friends find this. I hope they leave a comment. I hope they banter with me the same way they always have. Even if they don't really have much to say, just drop it in and say, hey, video sucks. Ha. I'd be like, yeah, that's them, all right. Because they didn't actually mean it. They were thankful I was making things. We would have all kinds of conversations one-on-one, where I'd either show them something interesting they didn't know happened, which sometimes they weren't as interested in I was, that's fair. Or I would tell them about all these wonderful stories, or I'd help them work on their own stories. We had a circle we would build stories with, we'd talk about things with. And I don't have that in my life anymore. I have people I can talk about my things with, but it's not the same as the circle I once had. And that's fine. I may never find that again. It's a precious part of my childhood, one that I carry with me. When I tell my stories, it's every single time I think of including one of their stories or one of their characters in it, I have confirmed with at least one of them that I have permission to use their story, which I do intend to do. We have not forgotten Clairesoft, though I would love to hear its actual origin story at some point in time, but I've repurposed it for my realm. But it's fundamentally intact. The only repurposing for my realm was changing the framing, which I didn't have the framing in the first place, so I just took what I didn't have and supplanted my own. But we would do that. We would. And that's, to me, what YouTube was. And as I've gotten older, I've begun to realize that's what all of my creative endeavors are. I don't make to get rich. I don't make to accomplish and get great fame. I make because I enjoy the process, because I enjoy the community it brings about. I like the shared purpose to it all. That when you tell a story, it doesn't just stay with you. It passes to every person who's heard that story with you. And so, I'm going to be taking everything on YouTube up a notch, but that means taking it to a new channel. If I'm taking it up a notch, that means I have to actually say goodbye to what I've been currently just the dead horse I've been beating up to this point. Now, clearly, since I'm sick, I won't be taking immediate steps to push out production of content for the new channel. But I do think that if I put forth the effort that my passion for storytelling drives me to put forward, I can make something happen. And if all goes well, if all goes to plan, if all goes as I hope, and everything's great, then the million brilliant ideas I have will eventually find their way to other people. But it does mean letting go. Letting go of something I've just barely been keeping alive in my faintest back of my memory. In my heart, it's never died. This channel has always been alive in my heart, but I've just not always had something to post on. I've had a lot going on in my personal life and in professional life, but I genuinely believe in the sense of community it brings. How when you share a story, whether it's yours or a fictional story or somebody else's, it spreads, it infects, it evolves. You never know what it's going to look like when it comes back to you. The old game of telephone is unfortunate if you want to spread accurate information, but it's also an excellent bit of information for storytellers to remember. The third person to hear about your story from a third-hand source is not going to have as clear an understanding as the first-hand person who read it. And the 30th person who hears about it through the grapevine, they're going to get an even less accurate version. And this is a double-edged sword. Because on the one hand, you're going to get people who, due to the misunderstandings, are going to think it's something it's not. And then there's going to be people who, upon hearing it, are interested and come to the primary source. But do you know what really happens? The real gold of storytelling? It's that gradient in the in-between. Links 10 through 20 are the real gold that comes from storytelling, because they have not and may not ever read your work. But the ideas that the telephone game has presented to them, changed or accurate, will inspire them with various things that they want to add to their own stories or their own fiction, or even a way of life they want to start employing for themselves, which is themselves their own story, their own autobiography. People like to downplay the importance of stories. And I don't think that's accidental. I think the people who recognize how much power it has are downplaying it so they can continue to do whatever it is they please with it. And those that downplay it without a secondary agenda are people who have actively given up on learning other people's stories. They don't take an interest in the idea. And that's not to say that it has to be a book. It could be a game, could be a movie, could be literally anything. Even VTubers somehow get lore because there's a story to the audience connection with them. Storytelling isn't just words on a page. Storytelling is everything. It is every experience you've ever had and how you would present it to somebody else. So no, I personally, I'm not important, but I have enough stories in here that may one day influence something significant. Or who knows, maybe hearing my story influences somebody to do something significant. Or maybe nobody ever knows. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter to me. It matters the stories are out there. So, I'm going to take it up a notch. I'm going to take my storytelling Make a whole YouTube channel around it. I don't know what that's going to look like. I do know that means this channel is going to go sedentary or be repurposed for something else. I'm never going to pull it down, though. I'm never going to remove this channel because it's a part of my history. I can't do that. I can't pull it down. Like it or hate it, it's a part of my story, and I would not erase a single chapter of what I've been through in my life. There are some I don't like rereading, but I would never erase a single chapter of my life. Every mistake, every idiotic move, everything done in ignorance is just as valid as every success, every win, every wonderful trophy I got to take home. Every single wonderful person I ever got to meet was just as significant in a way as the worst people I've ever met. Everything in your story is important. So this will remain up. But I'm going to be taking my content to a new level and making a brand new channel for it. ADHD Writer was an experiment. I won't be closing that down either. I might even go back to it, frankly. Just make 15-second shorts, sharing what I know. Bring it back to life, see if it can't work. I don't mind. Just whenever I have ADHD Writer thoughts. But the new channel for Black Chibi Dono is going to be very much focused on taking storytelling seriously. And I'm hoping that you guys are with me for the ride. So I might do a final dedication video. I've had something in mind. See, I've had two different ideas for how to properly send this channel off. See, there is only one completed Let's Play of this on this channel. Out of all the years I've had it, there's only one Let's Play that's been completed, and that's Super Mario Crossover. And I think I completed it twice. I think I've done it twice. So if I were to wrap up this channel, doing it once more wouldn't be that big a deal. The other one is to finish the first Let's Play I ever did, or should I say to start and end it. And that's the Final Fantasy. That's Fire Emblem 7. I don't know which I'm going to do. But my goal is to retire this channel, and I would like to have one more video on it to send it off. If anybody does find this, anybody does post comments, you let me know what you want to see. We'll make it an event. We'll send this rusty old ship that's been sitting in the dock too long off to its grave, and while we scuttle it, we can prepare for what comes next. So, ta-da! Bye!